We'll walk in.
So welcome everybody to Invest Oldsmar. Glad everybody could make it. It's great that we're all kind of here in person. And can you guys hear us on the Zoom? Yes, okay, thanks. So my name is Doug Beavis. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Government Affairs for the Chamber of Commerce, former mayor of the city of Oldsmar. I kind of went and got this off the wall, sorry Felicia, but so Invest Oldsmar really kind of started, and I'll show this. This kind of started back in 1916. This is Ransom Eli Olds' vision of downtown. And so over the years, I think we have continued to keep that in our mind and our vision for the downtown area. And so, you know, mayors over the years, including myself, Mayor Roniker, Mayor Beaverland, have all had that vision for downtown. And now Mayor Seidel will talk about it in a minute about the current vision. And that's kind of why you guys are all here to share in that vision. Because sometimes, and Mayor and I have talked about it, sometimes a developer, I sell real estate, might think that they're the only one that's interested in this. And by everybody being here today, you can see that there are a lot of people that are interested in investing in Oldsmar. So before we turn it over to Eric, we will just kind of work our way around the room with the introduction so everybody knows who everybody is. And we'll start to my left.
Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. Some of you are already know. We Gould. We don't have over there. My husband. We live on 436 Lafayette Boulevard, and we love it here in Oldsmar. So we love to be a part of dynamics that are going on. Thank you.
And by the way, if you want, while you're going around the room, mention what project you're working on.
Right.
So when we come back to it.
Well, certainly, we bought a lot in front of the library, which I think is quite strategic according to the plans and all. But you'll have to wait to see a little presentation I have to know more about.
There you go.
I'm Jason Sanders, and our hope is to open up the first brewery and working brewery in Oldsmar, building 9 brewery, and what else? Chairman of the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce also.
And your business in Oldsmar is?
And my business in Oldsmar is James Lives and Parking Corporation on the corner of Tampa Road and Baby Boulevard. Anything else?
That's good.
Thank you.
Mark Alfred, CEO of the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce.
Eric Seidel, I'm the mayor here in the city of Oldsmar. Just glad to be here.
I'm Felicia Donnelly. I'm the Assistant City Manager for the City of Oldsmar. I'm glad to be here this morning as well.
I'm John Smith. I'm here on behalf of Spinagle Wellness Institute. We're located in the Galleria down there. Dr. Spinagle would have liked to have been here today, but he extends his apologies. He had some emergency eye surgery. So I'm here on his behalf, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm looking forward to being a bigger part of the community here. We do some great things down there. We've got some great plans in the works, and I look forward to getting to know all of you a lot more and working with you all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aretta. I do business development for Tampa Bay's most awarded optical. We have 2 wonderful locations in St. Petersburg, and we're looking to expand into Oldsmar to take care of our clients that are coming from all that way to visit us down in St. Petersburg. And we're hoping to get into Dr. Spinagle's building right there at the Oldsmar Galleria.
Awesome.
Mark Benson with Untitled Media, my business partner, Dr. Shin, we just joined the meeting. We just moved into our new building down at State Street here at the corner of State Street and St. Petersburg. And for Untitled Media, we're a tech company. We have software. There's 2 pieces of software. One is mostly geared towards events. We run the Super Bowl on it. We also run campgrounds. You can run hotels. If you ever have an opportunity to come down to our office, we'd love to show you the software. And I'm going to have Skylar introduce our other piece of software.
Hi, I'm Skylar. I'm a law student at Stetson, and I'm working with medical chronologies this summer, which is the other software. It basically allows you to filter through medical records and create chronologies in a really advanced way that really nobody else in the legal field is really using. So.
My name is Tom Price. I'm the owner of Oldsmar Tap House and Golf Cart Cafe. So we feel we're kind of like the beginning of the downtown development. We're excited. We're excited about the city and everything that's going on down here. And so we're just looking forward to this meeting and see what all the development is. And we have some more ideas.
And my name is Sherry Clark. I'm the GM for the Oldsmar Tap House Golf Cart Cafe. I just want to first of all thank all of you and thank everybody in the community for the support thus far. It's going wonderfully. We just opened a few weeks ago, had a soft opening, just had our ribbon cutting, and I have to say I was blown away by the attendance. I underestimated that event, so I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, we look so forward to see what else is coming. We have lots of ideas to keep moving forward with what we've got. We've just started, so we've got a lot more great ideas. One thing I do want to offer to all of you, or any of you, with your projects, especially the major ones, we want to do a display wall. If you have any plans or any drawings or anything like that, we'd love to put them up on one of our walls, because we kind of are the hub right now, because we are that first launch pad. People are asking, what's going on downtown? What's going on? There's a lot of interest, and we keep promoting and like the excitement. This is happening. This is happening. And I will say, I guess I'm going to direct this to you, Maria. Just people have said, oh, well, when they open other bars, isn't that going to be bad for you? Or if there's going to be other, I said, absolutely not. I said, it's going to bring people down there, and then they're going to go from here to there. And so we are a big proponent of working with everybody, and you, Jason, obviously as well. I don't know where your location you're proposing yet, so I want to hear more about that.
It's next door
We'll be on tap. So yeah, if there's any kind of like, especially for the downtown development, theater district, and any other kind of plans that you would like to promote, I'd love for you to display it. The tap house will get it printed, we'll hang it on the wall, do a nice display.
The vision wall.
The vision wall, and in turn, it would be wonderful if, in talking with people, you say, oh, I don't have anything I can show you right now, but you know what, stop into the tap house. They've got it on their wall, have a look.
Yeah.
We would appreciate that, because they're gonna be coming through our door, so we are all about co-promoting for this big, wonderful excitement that's coming to our city. Happy to have everybody here.
Yep, and both Tom and Sherry and Matt and John, a couple people, residents of Baltimore too, I think that's.
Yes, residents of Oldsmar, Matt and I have owned our home here for 11 years, I believe. Yeah. And then you'll hear more about what he's doing on that. Matt and I are the bookends of St. Petersburg Drive. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Hi, I'm Ginger Katazeska, a local realtor. I have sold several of the commercial lots in Oldsmar. I'm super interested in the development of those lots and in Oldsmar in general. I still do have a very large commercial lot that I'm representing on St. Pete Drive. It's over half an acre. So that is always out there for future developers if they are so interested. Just looking forward to everyone's plans. So thank you.
Bill Hanlon, Maria Gould, mentioned me for Lafayette, and they have that commercial lot across from the library, and we're very interested to see what all will go on.
My name is Bill Cordell, and I'm a relatively new resident to Oldsmar. Moved here in 2017, but I've been coming here for almost 30 years. My parents have property over by the library, so I got very accustomed to coming down here, and we ended up moving down here in 2017, and then relocated down Shore Drive last year. So stuck down here in 2019 or 2020 due to the COVID. I came down and couldn't return to Maryland, and while I was here, I started buying a few lots here and there, and I met this guy. I bought a motel, okay? So at this point, we've been in kind of a renovation mode ever since then. Matt's done a wonderful job trying to clean the motel up here in town, and he's done a great job with that. And we haven't figured out exactly what we're doing, but we've got some adjacent properties around it. We got some pretty good real estate around that area, around that corner right there. Looking forward to hearing what's going on, and hopefully help us make some plans to develop that at some point in time.
Matt Clark, everything he said. I'm actually the manager of the hotel. We basically just, I don't know, 2020 fell into this scenario where for some reason we end up buying from Jefferson all the way down to Bayview. And he was stuck here in 2020, decided to buy the lot across the road, this lot. Went a bit crazy on it. Jeremy, who's our other business partner, he's still in Australia, and he'll probably be stuck there until they lift the flight restrictions. Our stage right now with what we're doing, we're just cleaning up the hotel. We haven't even really sat down at all to discuss anything of how we're going to. We have a rough idea of what we want to do, but nothing that's set in stone. I'm leaning towards a 1920s Victorian to match Big Blue across the road and that area of town. We're moving a lot over a big swimming pool, but I mean, we sort of discussed architectural insight and stuff like that, but we haven't actually set anything in stone. So that's where we're at. I've sent a few photos to Doug to give everyone an idea of roughly what I'm thinking, but we haven't actually sat down and discussed, could that work? I'm more old school downtown. Because of where it's located, that's what I would like to see, because I know that's what the community wants. Whereas we've had different insights here on architectural scenarios of how high, how many rooms, up for discussion. So that's us.
Can I come back with one last comment? I'd love to hear what the city would like, or the people in this room think would be beneficial to the city. We have a lot of property down there. What would be the most beneficial thing for the city? Okay, it doesn't have to, because we've got.
I agree.
A lot. Okay?
This is our first discussion, really.
Thank you for having us here, so we can actually talk to our partners.
It's not there. It's not there. John.
My name is John Buse, Davis Buse Design Group. Our office is actually down the road on State Street. Working on a project with Devin Rationale, next to the library in the theater district. Been a resident here, built my house in 1992, lots of dirt roads. So I'm a big fan of the city and want to see the downtown continue to grow.
I'm David Wallace. I've been here for 29 years. I'm an architect by profession. But today I run a charity called Oldsmar Cares. And Oldsmar Cares is my life and my love. We do our best to try to help everybody in the city. Anyone that comes in, we're there to be with them.
Awesome. Let's go to the Zoom. Ryan? Unmute yourself. Thanks.
Yes. Hey, good morning all. Sorry I couldn't join you today. Ryan Studzinski with Woodfield Development and working on the City Hall property redevelopment.
Awesome. Nick?
Good morning, everybody. Nick Pappas, owner of Flamestone American Grill and Beechwood Seafood Kitchen. We obviously love Oldsmar, and I'm excited to be here more about what's going on here in downtown.
Great, thanks. Dr. Shim?
Good morning. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I'm actually getting ready to see a patient. Mark Pinton's down there. He's my partner. Whatever he says, I will echo. Whether thanks for letting me join by Zoom.
Thanks. Paul? Paul, if you're there, unmute yourself.
He might have stepped away.
And I don't know who we have on the phone, but go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, Devin. Rationale.
No?
All right.
They're all recording.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, welcome again. And we kind of have an agenda everybody can see. And with that, I will kind of turn the floor over to Mayor Seidel. I'm going to hit share screen right there. And you have the mouse right there in front of you.
Give me 1 second. I want to just make a couple comments.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Let me start off by thanking the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. In addition to being mayor, I've been a trustee of the chambers for years and years and years. And the chamber is a critical partner for us here in the city. And, you know, as the plans get a little deeper and a little more developed and a little more deeper, one of the things that became very apparent is what you may not realize, but collectively, everything that is either in the pipeline, and by no means, I mean, you're going to hear some forward-looking statements today. I want to make sure everybody understands that, because this is a meet and learn, not really an invest. We're not asking, we're not selling anything. We're not asking you to invest. That's all your own due diligence. Let me do that disclaimer for the chamber. But when we realized that collectively in here, there's over $100 million that's either in the pipeline, it's at some point in the process. and this isn't kitchen talk. These are the folks who are here have invested money. They've either purchased property, they've got architects, they've spent development plans, they've engaged legal counsels. I mean, it's real, it's vetted, right? Not guaranteed, but it's vetted. So the ability for everyone to meet everyone is important. And I don't know that happens enough, but we wanted to make sure it happened. And I talked to the chamber that this would be a really good economic development project for them to do, and they were all over it. So let me thank them, thank everyone who's here. As Doug mentioned, this is being recorded. So what I would say to everybody, if there's something that you would rather not share publicly, then make sure you don't share it. I will say most of the information you're going to hear today is already public, but it's scattered in different places. And then some of it is private, but not secret, right? There's like a difference between the two. So in and I will tell you, the chamber was going to invite the council to be here, which would have been amazing, if nothing else, to zoom in. But we have this thing called the Sunshine Law. And so we can't sit in a meeting together over something potential that might come before us to vote on, right? That's a no-no. So everybody we've asked to do, like, everyone who's on the agenda, to do like 5 to 10 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with. We have some presentations people have submitted, some will submit screen share, and that's it. So I have a little PowerPoint that I'm going to go through real quick.
Yeah, I thought you can hit the screen share down there, or I can edit from.
Let you do it. I'll
It should be your drive, right?
I got it. All right, so let me just go through this real quick, and it's to set kind of, just kind of give an overall view so people can focus in. We have one more person just walk in.
Before you
Why
start,
don't you introduce yourself?
yourself.
Oldsmar, I am a CEO of a healthcare company. We are located on Tampa Road.
Very good.
Awesome.
All right, so welcome to Oldsmar. Of course, this is what we consider ourselves the hub of North Pinellas. And if you want to go from Tampa to Clearwater and not go over a bridge, we're your spot. Of course, this is the area we're going to talk about in general today of Oldsmar. And this area right through here is kind of referred to as starting to be called the Town Center Walk, right? It's about a half mile from one end to the other. It's all in our CRA. So you're going to hear about projects that are going on in this area. Up over here, you'll hear about a project over there, and it's pretty relevant because it's a large investment and will attract a lot more folks. And this right over here, let's see if I get this right. This is the area that Bill and Matt were just talking about with the Oldsmar Hotel, the Oldsmar Spa and Resort. So I just thought I'd point that out. Just a little quick, I don't know if all of you have seen this data. This is for this area right in here, which is the Tampa Bay corridor. This is for 2019. Okay, this information, by the way, is this is information I've received. There are companies, as you probably all know, where we can pull data. If you drove on this road in 2019 and you have a cell phone, you're counted in there. A little creepy, I know, but that just gives you an idea of the numbers. There's like 1.4 million trips in 2019. We use 2019 numbers obviously because of 2020. So here it gives you kind of a view of things we're going to focus on. Here's the first part you'll hear from Ryan about, which is the City Hall property. And as you walk down that corridor, here is also next to City Hall, we have a new park proposed that interacts with the development project. This is not the final draft of it. This is the first draft. There's been a lot of talk about expanding it where we get rid of this parking lot and incorporate it in a park. This section right here is currently commercial. It's not all done, but we envision that you'll be able to sit and enjoy the park, right? And of course, we have $1 million in the budget for this. If you don't know this, I'm from South Florida originally. Oh, yeah. You know, I gotta put a little of that in there. I just help myself. I figured if anybody started sleeping, we play this. But the idea is that it's a family-friendly entertainment. It's free. It's, you know, we envision long-term being a little different from some of our neighbors. And that we love what our neighbors are doing. They're an inspiration. Dunedin and Safety Harbor and those places. But I don't think, we don't want to be a midnight place. That's not us, not Oldsmar, right? So, you know, when we own a fountain and this is in a city park, we'll turn it off at the right time. That'll end the show. And that's kind of the theme, you know, it's family friendly. Don't get me wrong, if you're one of the late nighters and you want to stay up, you can go right down to the end of the street, turn left and go to Hennessy's, okay? I mean, you know, there's all that for everyone.
Where this will be located?
This would be right here. This is City Hall, right?
This is the current city hall, right?
This is the current City Hall across the street. And so it'll be right here.
And people will be able to view it from Tampa Road?
Yeah, let me see, can I go backwards? Oops. Well, anyhow, yes, so they would. Sorry about that. They would be able to see it as you're going down Tampa Road. That fountain goes up like 3 stories high. And the city has, you know, we currently have $1 million in the capital improvement budget for it. You know, it's something different in the area, right? So anyhow, you go down the street, here's the Galleria. You're gonna hear about the Galleria today. That's right here, okay? Then you go around the corner, and here's the library property. And you'll hear about stuff over here and over here, all right? Thank you. And that's all I got. And I had slided a picture in of our beach, little beach area over there. If you don't know where that is, it's around the corner. And so a little secret place. All right. That's all I got, Doug. So if you want to jump into the agenda.
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions real quick? Good.
We appreciate what all you are doing. And I think this is my personal opinion, and I think it's our ethical responsibility. We support you for you to get the second term for such a great work.
All right, we're not going there. I did not pay him to say that. So anyhow, we'll go back to it. So first on the agenda, I'll turn it back over to Doug, run through the agenda with,
First,
let Ryan get started.
Ryan, if you're there, unmute yourself and feel free to talk about the development that you guys have going on.
I think he has a PowerPoint. How do I get off
You
it?
have to stop
You should be able to
there.
share screen. Ryan, you should be able to share your screen if you need to.
Okay, yep, let's see if we can get this up and running.
Yeah.
Nope, that was not.
I see it. I don't see what's there.
Try this again.
Hit escape.
Yeah, maybe it's stuck. All right. And then close that.
And then go down to your Zoom and click on the Zoom icon down there.
There you go.
Are you guys
Right, there we go.
seeing, what are you
Yep.
seeing on your screen?
We see your screen now.
Are you seeing the Oldsmar Town Center presentation file or the agenda?
Yep. Oldsmar Town Center presentation.
Okay, perfect. So this will be somewhat familiar to some of the folks that may have been in attendance at a prior city council hearing. We also had a workshop where we went over some of this, but for the rest of you, just gonna walk through the concept that we've put together for the City Hall property. And I want to just briefly talk about who we are. Woodfield is a apartment developer. We pride ourselves on being a luxury, best-in-class type of apartment group. We are originally from the Carolinas and have progressively expanded our footprint over the years and are now active in Florida as well. Just some pictures here of prior projects that we've successfully completed in some different markets, Charlotte, Charleston. This is a project here in West Palm Beach, in Flagler Banyan Square that we just recently completed. It is a higher density mixed use project that includes an autograph hotel, of course, multifamily residential, some ground floor retail, and is fronting directly on the Intercoastal in downtown West Palm Beach. Just a few other examples of some other mixed-use projects that we have been successfully a part of. Morrison Yards is actually under construction in Charleston. We've got Sienna Park in Arlington, Ray Farms in Charlotte, North Carolina, all incorporating a fair amount of mixed-use ground floor into the overall project. We also have brought in what we think is a great architect to assist in this endeavor. Charlene Brock, based out of Orlando, is the architect we've retained on this project. They are really exclusively a multifamily and mixed-use architect. And we have a few other projects going on with them, and they have a great track record of a number of successful projects throughout the southeastern United States. And we've also brought in Land Design, who is both the civil engineer and the landscape architect. Land Design is notorious for having created a number of just incredibly impactful projects incorporating all sorts of beautiful park elements and really helping to activate streetscape and pedestrian interaction with projects. And we're excited to have both of those folks on board with this project. Jumping right into what we are proposing. This is a conceptual site plan. We have, I don't want to say begrudgingly, but we have agreed to step up and act as the master developer here in an effort to continue to try to move this project forward. I say that from the standpoint that we are not hotel developers, but understand that part of the vision of the master plan for this project was to incorporate a hotel component. So we are looking to incorporate a future hotel and looking to bring on a hotel developer, but that is not our core competency. We would lead the effort on the apartment mixed use component. As you can see here, what we're currently proposing is a little over 300 apartment units on the site, roughly 25,000 square feet of commercial, and we're also planning for the parking for the hotel in our parking garage here as well. Giving you a little bit of a different perspective and a massing elevation. You can see here that we're proposing a 5-story project, of course, adjacent to what we're referring to as the City Hall Park, which we are proposing with the city that we would also engage Land Design to help with the planning effort for that park in an effort to create continuity through the overall design of the project. As you can see here, we've really tried to focus the commercial and our amenities along State Street to really help activate that. We think that's an important element of the overall downtown feel that I think everybody's trying to create here. We are, at the mayor's request, looking at the potential of refining the commercial component and looking at the potential to incorporate a commercial piece on this leg. If you can you see my mouse moving?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. In this leg of the ground floor to just give some additional potential opportunity for activating the park with some commercial uses. We did put together a few preliminary elevations. These are just concept images that we kind of pulled as inspiration for what we thought was attractive design that would be appropriate for the project. Here's an actual concept image. This is at the corner of State Street in Washington. You can see we are looking to really activate that street front. We've got double height commercial space here on that corner, and then 3 floors of residential above that. Here's another view on State Street. You can see the City Hall building off there to the left. Of course, what we're envisioning here is the ability to potentially close off State Street, have food truck festivals, have interaction between the park and flowing out into the street and interacting with the various commercial uses that we hope to bring here to this project on the State Street ground floor level. Obviously, hoping that we can attract some sort of restaurateur to come into this corner that has the opportunity to take advantage of that frontage on State Street, as well as that park frontage to be able to just create and activate this type of street element. As the mayor alluded to earlier, we did put together just some preliminary concepts for what could happen in the park. Just to clarify for everyone, we have no intention of retaining ownership of the park. This would absolutely be a city park. We are proposing, again, to utilize land design, the landscape architect, to help facilitate that design effort. And we've offered to also construct that as part of our project on behalf of the city. Here's a close-up of the park with just some of the concept ideas. Obviously, we wanted to incorporate the fountain element that you can see here on the plan, introducing some shade structures, some sort of band shell structure for various types of activities that could occur here on the park, and trying to do a nice tree canopy along the edge of Tampa Road there to just give a little more sheltering of the sound that we anticipate will likely just have to take into consideration for that. The site for the park itself could be up to as much as 2 acres if you take into account this area here that kind of comes down into a triangle out here. As it's shown right now, this is more like 1.3, 1.4 acres. Here's another rendering that we put together that is just visualizing some of the elements that were on the site plan that you saw here previously. And obviously these are just concepts that we threw together to just give potential ideas. We would look to ultimately have land design work with the city to just further develop concepts and have design charrettes, and really let the city lead the effort in terms of what that design would ultimately look like here. as you can see, we are showing again that corner restaurant opportunity that has that ability to kind of interact with that public park and try to ensure that we have a nice wide streetscape there so that there's great opportunities there for that pedestrian interaction. And finally, just some other concept images that Land Design pulled for potential public areas, for just images that we felt like could be appropriate here that we'd be looking to ultimately incorporate into the project. Of course, trying to introduce shade structures wherever we can, seating opportunities, different concepts for what sort of pavilion bandshell structure could be put in the park. And some examples of just other urban oriented parks that have within Florida. So this down here is Sparkman Wharf in downtown Tampa, which I imagine many of you are familiar with. This one here is Boxy Park, which is over in Lake Nona area in Orlando, and both just very successful examples of more urban oriented, smaller parks that have successfully been able to capture a lot of the public interest and put on all sorts of events and host all number of activities, and think that those are some great examples of just the potential that exists here for the town hall park as we're referring to it. And again, just a couple of examples: shade structures, Boxy Park again, Sparkman Wharf, and I think that is all I've got. Yep.
Awesome. Well, and without getting too deep into the topic, does anybody have any general questions for Ryan about the project? I think he covered it pretty well.
Yeah, and I would say general is probably appropriate for everyone, right?
Yeah, we don't want to do too deep of a
Yeah.
dive, but
Yeah.
there's still a lot to be worked out. So excellent. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
here.
Okay. So next is on the agenda is the Tap House and Golf Cart Cafe with Tom Price and Sherry, and I'm gonna stick that back in and that back to you, Mayor.
We're trying to work our way down State Street. So there you go. I put a couple slides together. I talked to Sherry.
Yeah, we just, I've lived here 11 years and just always fell in love with Oldsmar when we moved here. And always.
Can you
wanted
try to
be-
speak louder?
Always wanted to be able to be part of the downtown development and have tried it different ways. The first one was Mickey's Peanuts. I wanted to do a Mexican restaurant concept there. Didn't get that done. That was right when I moved here. And so just been trying to figure out exactly what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it. And now this is like our first step. Ryan was talking about another restaurant down just, you know, the City Hall area, which I would be interested in as well. So we're just been open, you know, 3 or 4 weeks and very happy with everything. We're happy with the turnout, community. Every day there's new people that come in that are, and that's where Matt and Sherry actually came up with the idea. And Doug just gave you the name, the vision wall. So many people come in and are like, what's going on down here? They really want to know, they're interested. They live over off Strathmore or off South Racetrack Road or Bay Drive. And they're like, what is happening? Because now they're seeing things happening and they said, why don't we get conceptual drawings or what is on what we're talking about today and put it on that wall when we already know the wall. And that way people go over and we can tell them, this is what's happening, this is what's in the works, this is what is being looked at. And then they'll have an idea because right now we're just talking here. There's no visual. So that's we're happy.
Can you tell us your other restaurant experience?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
involved with a group, Walt and Jane, who own Water Oak Grill in Safety Harbor, Old Bay Cafe and Hog Island Fish Camp. I was their manager and built Water Oak for the ground up, project manager type wise, but and then just ran it for that company. They're not affiliated with this. And at this point, I'm on a leave of absence from over there because my concentration is to really get this downtown. This is my baby now. This is where I want to see it grow. So.
And for those that are new to the area, it's actually a rebirth of one of the originals, the Oldsmar Tap House that started with the son of Eve from Eve's Restaurant. Gosh, how long ago was that?
Long time ago.
Long time ago. So we're excited the city is to see that come back.
And we're, in a sense, keeping it in the family because Eves was part of Oldsmar. Tony was, bless him, he's passed. Matt and Sherry, that's what I asked Sherry to come in and be part of it. Just to get the rebirth, and then now it's time to move forward, and I don't see anything stopping any development downtown right now. Everything's exciting.
So, hey, let me just comment before we go on to the next. I don't know, Sherry, if you had anything you were planning on adding?
Not really, just tell you a little bit more about my background. So Matt and I have lived here, owned a home here for 11 years. Prior to that, in my prior life, I also owned a home here with my ex-husband, raised my 2 boys here. They grew up with Oldsmar Little League. They went to Oldsmar Christian School. So I'm a longtime resident of Oldsmar through the decades. And obviously excited about the whole downtown concept. Ironically, I just thought of this moment, didn't really put it together because when Tom came to me and said, I need a general manager, I know what I need Sherry Clark, and I was like, what? Ironically, about 5 years ago, I want to say, Matt and I don't know if you remember a big red double-decker bus that was a food truck, double-decker old British bus that was parked all over town, here and there, and city council kind of got it, not city council, sorry, code enforcement kind of had to get on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because somebody complained about a bus being parked somewhere. Anyhow, we had plans for that. We wanted to go down on the corner here by the library.
It's funny you should say, I didn't know that.
We were looking at doing
About that Mickey's
where Mickey's
Peanuts.
Peanuts was. We wanted to park the bus there. We wanted to open and do something down here to kind of launch and get that downtown going, but didn't really work out that way. So it's kind of funny how back then Matt and I had sort of that vision. Now he's involved with the motel and they have a whole vision of, cafes, restaurants, bars, like doing a resort, something with the downtown. So Matt and I, yes, we've always had that love, that wanting to bring things. Matt ran, I don't know, most of you probably know, ran for city council back in 2018. Aside from that, we've both just been very community oriented. Along with Tom,
So let me just comment on something real quick on the picture up here and the one that was before that in the street. And this is an example, I think, of a city that is serious about investing in having a downtown. Those parking spaces in front of the Galleria are owned by the city. And so one of the things that the city council has discussed is the problem that when that building was designed originally, which predates, it was other owners at the time, just for the record, it didn't envision a deep sidewalk. And so if we're going to get some sidewalk cafe vibe, we didn't have really, in the current configuration, we didn't have the space to do it because of ADA compliance. And so the city actually incurred the investment of filling in and giving up those parking spaces and creating that. And I mention that only because I think it's important for the people investing in the community to understand just how committed the city is. All right, you go ahead and jump out. That's the end of it.
Thanks. Any questions for Matt or for Sherry and Tom before we move on? And Sherry's dad actually was an investor in this city too, with Quality Thin
Yes.
Films, just sold his
That
business
is
over in
very
the
true.
industrial area. So a deep bloodline there. Thanks. Next is Jason Sanders and the Building 9 Brewery, which is you, right?
Yep, that's one.
Can you get him the mouse?
I think you have to do the skate first.
And then what do I have to make it?
Full screen?
Go to slideshow at the very top.
Slideshow at the very
The
top.
square right there.
I got it.
Go
Okay.
slideshow, and then go to the far left from beginning.
Thank you.
Where's a 9-year-old when you need him? huh?
And less than that. Okay, so again, I'm Jason Sanders with Tampa Bay, with Power Clean Corporation, and with Building 9 Brewery. Since everybody else giving a little background, my family, the business Power Clean Corporation, Jamison Power Clean, is a second generation business. My parents picked up the piece of property back in '76, I believe, and have been there ever since. What was nothing at the time is now the center of Oldsmar. So we have 9 buildings in the area there, 5 acres right on Tampa Road and Bayview Boulevard on the corner. And then I've got a couple other buildings down the street as well that we've acquired over the years as well. So the intent, because that piece of property actually on that Bayview corner is not only in the downtown redevelopment district now, it's also part of the Tampa Road corridor. So that really, the intent is to have that be much better than an industrial aspect, which again, as we are now, because it's M1 zone. And we plan on staying there as long as we can, just so you know, we're not going anywhere. But with the hope or intent would be, just click, okay. Just in case, I probably should add this up. This is the piece of property that we're talking about, or this is the business in particular. The intent would be on the east hand side of the property here. We come all the way over to here. Should be a closer up view if you see from Tampa Road, just in case that.
Frank's Trains, the old.
Right, Frank's Trains was here, correct. And I don't even know what this was along the way at some point. I've lost track of all that, but.
This is, by the way, this is like a block from City Hall.
Directly across from the post office.
Yeah, correct. The way this property comes down is the part that we come down east really is like if you go across the street from City Hall into that property, we're kind of on the other side. It goes that far over. So this would be the piece of property in particular. It'd be the last acre that's over here on the side that we would intend to use. This would be the building that we'd go ahead and refurbish with that. And what we want to do is put together what we're calling Building 9 Brewery. This would be the actual structure, would be the brewery itself, which we would actually do the housing of the brewery and everything and have a tasting room in there. The rest of this would be seating up front. And because I do have an acre of land back there that's doing nothing right now with that, we wanted to extend the rest of it out into an area where food trucks could come in and park in here. We would have rotating food trucks that come through. We'd have seating and fire pits along this area here, along with some cornhole spots and everything as well, where we can have tournaments. Towards the back, there would be more open area, grassy area just for seating. A little more undercover outside seating here that we could put up. And like I said, then the stage as well, maybe we're considering putting in a stage also, so we could do some other events there, have music as well, since we have the yard part, and then all the outside seating here. So to give you a closer look at kind of, this is the building, actually the brewery. This is the brewing end of the house back here where we do the brewing and have the offices. And this would just be seating for that, a bar. So when you come in the entrance here from the front parking, you could come into the other side around here, or just come right into the brewery at this point. And we have a bar there as well, which would open up to the other side, which is the undercover outside part as well, open right up. So this would be a dual-sided bar for serving inside and outside with that. On the back end side of it, this is where the building ends here and the bar opens up into here. Say we have a covered seating area here, so you can still be outside and have covered seating if you wanted. Just like I said, some more tables and seating ability, maybe the open yard in the back, potentially a dog park, something like that if we want to make it dog friendly, so we have room. And again, the food trucks are over here And then also kind of we thought about design, because we do get a lot of rain sometimes, that if you did make it into the brewery, you can get to the food trucks or the outside seating or whatever it is, without getting rained on. We'd have covering all those potential areas where you could get in there and still not have to go out with the rain for all those people. So this would be the intent here for this, to have the brewery there that we could house, but also give it more of a, outdoor feel, like it's been mentioned before, Sparksman's Wharf or something like that, which you've done.
I'm trying to get, I was trying to connect, oh, sorry. I'm trying to, I don't think I have control. I was trying to admit somebody. There's somebody trying to get in.
No, sorry, yeah, I got it. You want me to close down for a second?
No.
Escape and close down.
I don't have control of them. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so to create more of an outside event space and everything as well, we'll do the brewing, but have indoor events and outdoor events as well, give us more of an outside feel like a Sparksman's Wharf and have that ability. If that area or that plan doesn't work, that site plan or that property doesn't work, I also own a building, a secondary location that we're thinking about putting it is right off of Marlboro, which is just a couple blocks down, over, I guess, by Holloway. There's a building that I own there now. That's a warehouse building, 3 doors and everything else. We could take that and then make that a thing. It wouldn't be as extravagant with the outside portion of it. But that's another potential facility that we have for having the brewery there. And then the intent, besides the 2 actual brew houses or, whatever location that is we inevitably would, and I'm sorry, Ryan, if this is an old picture, obviously, but it's all I had with the thing, but with the downtown area, our intent would also be to have an outlet downtown, a tasting room downtown. So we'd be brewing the beer in one of the spots there in Oldsmar, but then also bring that to the downtown area, so we could go ahead and have that be an outlet as well, and bring the people down into the downtown area as well. So that would be our overall intent for what we're trying to do there.
Excellent.
And I think that is it.
Did good on time, too.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You got it?
You got it.
Hit a stay.
Yeah, there we go.
Where's the name come from? Okay, good question. I didn't want to get into too much history and all, but, so the way that we've done things, and again, I won't go through the whole process, but, when they built the first building there, no big deal. We just had one building, which is actually, it looks like it's a much smaller building than what's there now, because the next one we butted up right to get next to it when they did it. But my father built 4,000 square feet on the property when he first got it, and had no idea how he was going to fill up the warehouse. So the next year, a short period of time, we needed to expand, and he put on a second building, and then we put a third building on next to that. So we just started calling them buildings 1, 2, and 3. We bought then a 4th building and a 5th building and a 6th building. We just started referring to them by the numbers. So that building is actually the 9th building that we have bought in Oldsmar. So we want to keep that history behind it, call it Building 9.
That's cool.
Yeah, and actually there's 10 buildings in total. We have 10, the secondary site is actually Building 10, but we don't care, we'll still call it Building 9 at that point anyway, because I like it. It rings, for me. So anyway.
You can make the tasting house over at City Hall, location 10.
Yeah, so that's where the numbers came from with that. And actually part of our property, the 5 acres, there was a old city garage. Well, the city used to have a garage there at one point, and we bought that property from the city years back, because we kind of surrounded them anyways. But that's gone, because we had to, part of the deal with buying it was they said you have to tear this down. So that was actually 6, but 6 is gone, so.
Good job.
Any questions, Jason, real quick? When's the first batch gonna be available?
October next year.
Well, great, thanks. And next up, we have the Galleria building, Dr. Spinagle and
Don is.
Well, Dr. Spinagle had intended to be here, and he was going to dazzle you all with his brilliance and his vision. But unfortunately, he did have to have that emergency eye surgery, so he's unable to be here today. Our realtor was going to be here today, and he got caught up in a last-minute closing. You're stuck with me. I was not prepared for this, so I'll just take a moment to just let you know that We moved in there in the Galleria. We purchased a good chunk of the building. We moved in January 2nd of 2015. So we've been there that long in our medical practice. Our practice has always had we treat people from all over, not only all over the country, but literally all over the world. So we've brought in a great deal of medical tourism to Oldsmar. Our patients are staying in your hotels, eating in your restaurants, drinking in your establishments, and those types of things. So we feel that we've brought that to the table in Oldsmar, but 2020 hit. It just completely, we took a hit with our travel. We lost a lot of opportunity to have patients come to us, especially our international patients. Things are starting to turn around, and we look forward to welcoming those types of patients back. But in the meantime, we had to reinvent a few things, which meant we really took a different focus on local and Oldsmar and the people around here. We treat chronic diseases, Lyme disease, mold toxicity, those types of things, industrial toxins, and it brought people from all over, including celebrities as well, and we've had them through our doors and continue to have them through our doors. But we needed to refocus on what we could do locally during 2020. We've always had a spa area, massage, colon therapy, and that type of thing. And we put a different focus on that. We put a different focus on the types of patients that we're treating in our actual clinic area. We offer intravenous therapies. So we're looking at that a little bit differently. In the process of all that, we realized that it is pretty exciting to be a part of Oldsmar. It's pretty exciting to get to know the community. And with that,
Right there.
you have perfect timing. I planned that. No, I didn't. So we're looking to take more of a local focus. I've taken over recently as the practice manager. I've been with Rationale Llc for over 6.5 years, but I've recently taken over the practice manager position. And I personally have always been in my outside life, I've always been real involved with communities and charities and getting involved in those types of things. And now I'm looking forward to doing those types of things here in Oldsmar, and having Rationale Wellness get involved in the local community more so than ever. We're thrilled to welcome the Tap House into our Galleria family. We're thrilled to hear, what you've got going on over there. And let me put Mark on the spot at this point and give a little overview of what we can expect in the Galleria.
I don't have real commitment for us being able to disclose who's going next door, post 108, 109, because I don't want to, he still have a landlord. And I don't want to put his business out on the street, but I have just about all the bottom done, because she'll take 108, 109, and this payroll company, if you will, large payroll company, will take 110. So the retail at the bottom will be done. And if Dr. Spinago in any way condenses upstairs, and if he does condense, I'll sell one of the office pieces, or at least one of the office pieces out, and then we're 100% done.
Good job.
That's great.
Like you're done.
You have plans of, because areas that massage, to redevelop the front of the building to make it more, I didn't even know that was.
We are actually talking about that. Just in conversation this morning, it's funny you bring that up. Yes, I have ideas and visions of my own, to kind of draw attention to the building. I mean, it's a beautiful building. It's been repainted. It looks wonderful. But nobody knows what's there. Nobody knows what we do. That's why we're so happy to have you, reinventing that foot traffic to that area. And we need to get noticed now. So, yes, and if you would like to get together at some point, outside of here and exchange ideas as well, we're very open to that. We are excited to bring that new look to us and the building itself and all our new neighbors.
And I'd like to interject just for a moment. Anytime anyone in this room embarks on any sort of renovation project or anything, really, my door's open because I want to make sure that, I can teach you what the rules are, really. And so I'd rather do that at the beginning. So anytime, if you guys even want me there at an initial discussion about design, sometimes I know the code pretty well to say like, no, we can't do that, or yes, we can do that, or let's do it this way. So I just wanted to, offer that to anyone, just because I see the struggle on the other end if somebody comes in after they have a design already done and then it doesn't meet some of our code. So me or anyone else in the staff.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons she's here. Because if she leaves it to the mayor, I'll be like, yeah, you can do that. Give me a shovel and a hammer, I'll come help.
Yeah, and if he says, they say no, then he blames it on the previous mayor, right?
I'm still busy fixing up all your stuff.
I know.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for that. And next up is Rationale LLC, longtime Oldsmar resident John Beavis in the Oldsmar Theater District.
Yes, and we have done several projects in town previously at the Hayes Park Village, which was a city-owned parcel over by the fire station, 52 units there, as well as our mixed-use office building at the corner of Washington and State Street. And then I've designed and built many, many homes in the CRA. This project actually has a quick backstory that is interesting, I think, to say why is it the downtown theater district. I was at a city council meeting, I believe, and somebody was talking about our art center for the great turnout we've had at our local theater. And I remember that the Beamworks building that's on the site now kind of had the shape of a black box theater, which I didn't know what it was until I looked it up. But then I figured out it was a good space for it. And then I wanted to develop the rest of the parcel as residential, because that's what I'm involved in. And Devin, who's on the call now, is doing the development. So I went to city staff and said, hey, this is a great place for black box theater. Can I show you some ideas? So that's how the theater district was born in my mind. And then the project was built around it. Since then, what you'll see on this presentation is that building was deemed, it's pretty old and it wasn't worth fixing up. So we continue with that theme, but we started with a brand new building. So I just want to let you know that the theater district and the residential were always intended to be supportive of each other. It just has changed from original concept. So you'll see some just images here. We're calling the building, the theater building, the Odeon. Is just a Roman name for a theater, Greek name for a theater. And that's just kind of became the nickname. So here, this is just some eye candy.
Can we just real briefly, I think everybody knows, but geographically, the property is next to the library on St. Pete Drive, basically all the way up to State Street.
Yes, I'll show you the site plan here. You'll see the library on the far right corner. There's Dartmouth, and then in front is also bounded by St. Pete Drive. This parcel goes all the way to State Street. So it really is a whole city block. The city does own the whole entire parcel currently. So in this image, you'll see along State Pete Drive, you'll see 4 buildings, 6-plex. They're live-work units. It's about 12,000 square feet of mixed-use space. So it could be someone's office, cafe. They're not super large in nature, so you wouldn't see a big restaurant, but it could be retail, it could be offices, quite a few approved uses for live work. And on the right corner next to the library, you'll see the Oldsmar Odeon that is currently a parcel carved out for a community theater, a black box theater that we're hoping to have done. And then the interior of the project is townhomes, just exclusively townhomes. And there'll be a community pool cabana, private for the community itself. And then the property borders all the way to Arlington Avenue, where I live, and actually Mr. Price is my neighbor. But we're keeping all the buffer space, the green space you see back there is going to remain to protect the neighbors there's lots of trees along the site now that we plan to keep as well. So from that side of the community, it will still be blocked and bordered. But from the front side, we're trying to engage again the downtown. So if the library is at one end and City Hall's at another. Today, Ginger has a parcel that's another block away from here, and then another block from that is the hotel. So really, you're looking at ultimately a U shape. I don't have a picture of that, but as I'm hearing today, if it starts at the hotel, it literally U shapes all the way back into City Hall. So it can keep expanding, and there's lots of potential along the way of either underutilized properties or vacant properties along that whole corridor. But today, I'll just show you some pictures of this. There's between 90 and 94 units in this project, plus the theater itself. This is just outlining, this is also a public document that's been presented to City Council. This is just showing what we call the commercial, the residential, and the live work, and color coded. Also showing some acres. The parcel is about 6.5 acres of where Mickey's Peanuts used to be, actually a long time ago. Claude John used to have a shop there as well, and there were all kinds of buildings have been there in the past. Oh, here's 6.4 acres and then a carve out for the theater itself. The theater is also designed to use the parking behind the library and the on-street parking. So that's why you'll see no parking lots, so to speak, because there's quite a bit of parking already available, and the uses are generally speaking, they're off use, they alternate. Here's just really some imagery that we created to show what a theater could look like. By no means is this the theater, but we wanted to show, we want it to look like it's been there. The whole idea here now is that it was there at the turn of the century. It's just been remodeled, and the building is supposed to be like it's always been there as a theater, as an old time theater. But today's use will be much more for community theater as well as event space. The space is multi-use. So a lot of flexibility in this particular parcel of land, which we're pretty excited about. We're also engaging between the library and the theater. We'd like to see that space become public courtyard, fountains. It's public space. You're going to be parking in the back and the front, but pre-show and things like that, we wanted that area to be, I say, usable for public. Again, this is just an idea. We're currently, this parcel is carved out of what I'm going to show you for the residential. But so this theater still needs quite a bit of community feedback as well as design. Just a night shot, as I mentioned, I love kind of night shots, they just look cool. Another night shot, kind of see how you can start to see the existing library, which I will also point out, originally designed in the library of that courtyard you'll see on the right-hand side was designed to be a cafe. Currently it houses city marketing staff, I believe, but there is a space that's actually was pre-designed to be that, and we would love to see that happen. Again, as more foot traffic comes, it could be another space, pre-function space as well. This is a shot at the first live work buildings. So you'll see they're 2 stories above live work. So the second 2 floors are private for the owner. The owner of each townhouse will own the live work unit. So they're not separately sellable by design. But they can rent them out. So they could own them and rent them to a cafe, keep them themselves, or do an office, anything they want, but that's the way they're designed. And they're also designed to be at the storefront variety downstairs. So they're designed to look like storefronts. The particular, we have a floodplain issue here in the city that we've adopted. So these buildings have to be up for ADA and for flood. So there'll be some terracing going on there. We haven't exactly figured all that out yet, but we're trying to keep the streetscape relationship between the sidewalk and the street as seamless as possible, so that we don't want a lot of railings, a lot of guardrails. So these are just some more eye candy of the live work units. I'll go through these pretty fast. There's a spot I want to show you in particular in a minute here at the corner. So this particular image is at the corner of St. Pete Drive and State Street. I ran out of time before the deadline to present, so we didn't really design this corner, but we have since then, which will be pretty fascinating. But if you remember the second place winner of the art competition, the first place winner is here, the wings. That's the first place winner. Those wings are actually right next to this building. I ran out of time, so I copy pasted them to show I wanted some public art there. But my thought now is, do you remember the O, the big O? We wanted to see if we could engage the second place winner to put the O on the corner, big red O that identifies Oldsmar. And it's already designed, and everybody would love it because he got second place. And then at the terrace up between the two buildings there, we want to put a tower in a bit of an homage to, and I just saw it this morning, an homage to Ransom Eli Olds. So it's kind of got some car theme to it, and it'll be the gateway on the corner, as well as an identifier to the community, because it's got some theater, but it's also got some history from Oldsmobile. So I hope to show that and fix this image, but it's really cool. So this corner piece, when you come into that downtown corner at the four-way stop there, I think you're gonna know that you've arrived someplace special as opposed to vacant lot. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I wish I had it ready, but it's not. Here's a close-up of that. Just imagine where those wings are, a giant red O that you can sit in. I wish I had an image of that, but we do have one online. And then there's some more eye candy of live work units. This is an example of the residential units, which are in the interior of the project. 3 stories, the downstairs is all garage, second floor is living, the third floor is bedrooms. Another nice shot because I like them. There's a little peekaboo, you'll be able to see that corner from the 2 units when you're inside, so that people living in the community will also engage with that public space, which we think will be a benefit to the buyer of the unit itself. And they'll be able, of course, to walk everywhere. As we're all in this room talking about development, there'll be a lot more walking places to go. This is a little bird's eye aerial view. If you start to see the shot, you'll see the hotel in the far upper left. That's the Residence Inn. You'll see the garage over there in the corner, and then you'll see the library off to the right, just to give you a perspective of the size of the project. And then here's an aerial of the same project, just kind of rendered with green space and trees. So I went pretty fast, but the idea is that the residential component will support the live work, and then everything we're talking about today will support the live work as well. So I'm hoping that they'll feed off each other. And those are also all for sale units. And a public builder will be building them. I won't, because I want to go faster and more efficient. So we'll engage in a national builder to build the residential.
Any questions?
Is that gonna be a condo concept or a fee simple townhome?
Fee simple townhomes with the an HOA.
Is the commercial gonna be a professional HOA separate from the?
No, they'll be owned by the, and that is a caveat, that's a very important note, that this isn't,
Correct.
you won't be leasing it out as one big unit because they're divided for firewall, as well as the whole purpose of this is to get this built in a residential theme thinking, so the public builder will build the live work units as well, because they're essentially built like a residential unit.
When will you be able to start taking reservations?
Well, they
Gotta have a buyer first.
Yeah, we expect, I think the city, we still have about 6 months of city work to do before the builder is engaged, but I'm quite certain they'll have a VIP list the day they close on it. And several people have already called me and asked me about taking reservations, and I said, I can't, but I'll certainly give your name to the builder.
I hear that all the time, I have to tell you. People, when they see the project, and of course I talk about this and what's going on at City Hall and all of your projects, frankly, and I'm always encouraged at the immediate feedback. You know, first it's, oh, that's amazing. You can almost see it happen. About 5 minutes later, they come back and they're like, hey, how can we buy a unit? How can we get a location over there? We want to put a coffee shop there, or we want to put in a pastry shop, or we want to, like, just pay attention.
And I'll certainly will give some eye candy to the vision wall. So we'll put some names up there and maybe some phone numbers, at least to start collecting that information.
And I know this came up at the city council meeting, so obviously it's public, but what do you envision the black box? I know it's conceptual and it doesn't necessarily mean that it will come before, there's no staging, but what do you envision the size of that to be?
Can I jump in there for a
Sure,
moment?
yeah.
And the reason I'm gonna do that, because I'm gonna take John off the hook, because just so for clarity.
Sure, yeah.
That black box theater would be, while we would certainly harness the strategic value of Mr. Buser's design work and that type of contribution that he brings. That's a city asset,
Right.
once said and done, right? If you look at it this way, in essence, what we're doing is, I think, to simplify things, where the goal would be to carve that piece of land. We already own the land, just to carve that out. And the council conceptually has approved the concept, but the actual size and the very detailed part of it, I would say there's no decision made from council or even a good direction. And that's in part because we're still negotiating the sale of the land with Mr. Hughes, and we know that he's gonna pay a really fair market value for it. And so, I've discouraged purposely some of that discussion so far, only because there's a lot more research to do on that on our end, and it's premature.
Sure.
But I mean, things are moving quickly, I would say. I will say this for Mr. Hughes, and not talking out of school, and that is one of the advantages of we've felt in terms of working with him so far is that he has a very strong understanding of what the current codes are and requirements. And that's going to make permitting and that type of stuff a lot easier. And as we're the first project we heard about, there's some density changes that we want to support as a city, because we want the traffic here, right, to make it successful. And so that's going to require some additional work. But in any event, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on it.
No, that's
but
fine. Yeah, I mean,
the council hasn't like dove into that in a deep way yet, because they're kind of waiting till we go, okay, we have a signed deal now.
Sure.
Boom, let's go to that next.
Well, and it's also, I think, a factor of cost too, from
Well,
the city's perspective as to, how
it's,
much it costs.
well, and that's spoken like a true mayor right there. Because we recognize the fact that we like doing a lot of stuff and all these things without creating long-term debt for the city. So.
Awesome.
Very good job, thank you.
I don't know how long he was in the waiting room, but our city manager has joined the meeting, so welcome, Al.
Joining behind, all right.
So next, and I don't see him in the room anymore. I don't know if you have any information, Paul.
I do, as
Cantor
a
Building.
matter of fact, I have a little bit of information. They could not be here. Paul and his business partner are presenting as we speak right now at a convention in New Orleans.
Oh,
So
darn.
I know they're disappointed. They'd rather be here with us today, but they're in New Orleans. But they have two buildings that they're building over there. This is across from what the theater. And I don't know, John, if you know more of the details, but it's a multi-story, is it 2 stories?
It is. The buildings are twins. They're actually modeled off of this building you're in today. They'll be mixed use, if you will. They're gonna occupy one of the floors for now. The other floor will be rentable. And then the second building will look like the first, but they're doing it in phases. And if you drive by now, it is a frame stage, and I don't know if, I think it doesn't have a roof.
It has a roof on it, and I spoke to Paul, and as much as I hate to share this, but the delay has been building supplies. It's just been building supplies. I thought maybe they purposely slowed their roll for a moment, and he goes, oh, no. He was excited because I think they just got the rest of their roofing material, and I noticed driving by there that they were doing some roofing, but he sent me a little information on it. The completion date they anticipate for the new building right now is June 30th of this year. So they're expecting it to move. There's going to ultimately be 2,500 square feet of rentable space on either one office or 2 offices of 1,250 square feet units. So
I'll say the architecture is designed again to look like that building has been here for 100 years. So they really took a lot of time to pay attention to the downtown codes. So we're really excited about that.
they're going to announce their grand opening celebration soon, wants everyone to come out. And there's some rebranding that they're going to be talking about. And for those of you who don't know, Cantor Financial Forensics, they do forensic accounting work. They're a fast growth firm. And as a matter of fact, I was saying they're actually in New Orleans right now because they're doing presentations about fraud and fraud prevention at the National Precast Association Conference. And so in any event, that's just kind of a quick, but they've they're one of those folks, from what I said earlier on, who's either invested in architectural plans or, hired lawyers and legal staff, or they've purchased the land. And now, of course, Paul and them, and they're at the point where they've gone through all that permitting, and like I said, they hope to have their grand opening in June.
Okay.
All right.
And like the rest of us in the room, their local, their office is local now. They want to stay in town because they believe in the downtown. So they're one of, they fit well in the room.
Yep, give them a round of applause. They're not-
Awesome. Next, and I'm gonna butcher this name, Danae, Hadley, and Marie.
Don't.
No. I told you, I warned you. With the coffee shop in Tapas, and this one's you, right? Okay.
While he gets that set up, I'll tell you about ourselves without telling too much, or maybe what everyone would know out there, right? So, our business, we own a business in software solutions. Have for over 25 years now. We represent information management solutions. That means electronic records for, depending on the industry, we do it for many industries. We have our company here in the US. And I am originally from Puerto Rico, which is part of the US anyway. But a little bit different, but I like the Fonzie song, that was cool. So we've owned businesses, actually we met in the industry, different, that's a long story. So, but anyway, as fate would have it, a little hurricane called Maria, I resent that it was named after me. Changed our lives and our paradigms and what we were about to do. And I love the stories from sharing everyone here, because we think, best laid plans of mice and men, right? So we think, but destiny takes us somewhere else, and destiny brought us to Oldsmar. It will be 4 years this December when we closed on our house with Ginger, favorite realtor. And we are very happy to be here. I am from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised there. It will always be a part of me, but Oldsmar is home now. So it's quite visionary. I have a very small presentation. As I said, our business has been technology, not real estate, so I'm not gonna get as fancy as some of my partners here, but I will say this, that in everything we do, we gather, the knowledge and resources from the people in the community. And we have a lot of people, John, David, many people that have had the pleasure to engage with. Actually, John is our neighbor, after a neighbor. And we're relying on that and the folks from the city to guide us and help us fill in that vision that we all have for Oldsmar. So I'm gonna show you a few slides here. Oh, I have them.
You have the mouse.
Okay.
You're in charge.
Can I believe I go here? I was trying to tell someone to do it, now I know.
I know how to do this now.
If you wonder where it says slideshow on the top, go over to the right, Go straight up there, click on that, and then go all the way to the far, from beginning.
Very good.
There you go.
Oh, here. So this is funny because this conversation's been going around here all morning, Oldsmar past, present, and future. And I find it ironic that in my 4 years here, there's been a lot of sarcasm and skepticism about Oldsmar having this dream for such a long time. But I think the most interesting thing is that vision is still alive, that vision that Olds had. So there must be something to it, because now I think everything and everything happens in the right time, as I was saying earlier. And just click, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Let's see where.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So this is what we see in Oldsmar. We see community, a sense of community, the leadership and entrepreneurship, and all those things are combined for a very successful, deployment. A community with a common vision, shared values, entrepreneurial spirit, and committed leadership. And there's Tom and Sherry over there.
Mr. Pizza Pants.
So this slide is really interesting. Long story about how I ended up in Oldsmar, but at the very end, it was just some friends we knew. But when I was thinking about where to base ourselves because of the chaos in Puerto Rico, I knew a little place called Safety Harbor. And then our friend said, well, but that's right across from Oldsmar. And we started looking for houses in Safety Harbor, but as irony would have it, we did not find a house in Safety Harbor because Destiny wanted us in Oldsmar. So when I was talking to the city, Dawn, and I met with city, a few people, and I said, oh, I love what Safety Harbor and Dundee did with their place, but we can make it better. That was the comment, and I agree with that. We can make it definitely better. So this is based on things about that common view we have, and these are some of the pictures that John was sharing with us today in the city. A walkable town center that connects and integrates fine arts, retail, residential, boutique hotels, and a diverse groups of restaurants and cafes for the pleasure of visitors and residents alike. And really, that's the vision we share as residents here. I mean, we're gonna be right behind this. We can walk to this. So it's just awesome. Okay, and this is some of the vision. So if you've seen some of the pictures that have been going around today, what I envision in doing something is a cafe that combines the elements of a kind of a European flair decor with a day to night transition. And it's a strategic location because this will be directly in front of the theaters. So you're gonna have something. And as Matt said, this is very preliminary for us. This is gonna be a part of all the development and things that are going on here, but it's our vision, it's our dream. So I'm very excited to be a part of a very ambitious plan, because sometimes I wake up and go like, oh my God, what I was thinking about when I bought that lot and what am I gonna do? But it is the way we've always done it. And he who doesn't take risks, and we're gonna be here. We're looking at it more from, and I think the mayor shared something like this, that for us, this is a lifetime plan. It's not, it is an investment, of course, but it is part of our plans for retirement and contributing to our community here in Oldsmar. Thank you.
And up next is the Health and Psychiatry, Health and Med Spa, Usman is here to join us, is here to talk about that.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Usman. I'm a CEO of two healthcare companies. The one company is Health and Psychiatry, and the other one is Global Health Choices. I'm one of the pioneers of telemedicine. I started working on telemedicine in 2010. And in 2012, when I finished all my projects for telemedicine, and I'm friends with many doctors, I used to tell them, they all used to make fun out of me. What are you talking about? How this will work? And I started my first tele-psychiatry clinic. I opened a clinic in Port Richey. At that time, our office was in Clearwater. And we started doing tele-psychiatry in 2016. So now, in 2020, just to go on a quick short version, when people were shutting down their business and we understand their problem, I opened 9 locations all over Florida in the year 2020. Right? This year, we are planning to open 15 more. We have locations all over Florida. I'm a very proud resident of Oldsmar. I live in Mobley Bay. We bought a building right across the road, right? He's my neighbor across the road. I was very appreciative for the city council. I gave my first plan when he was the mayor. I gave my second plan when Eric was the mayor. So we have already built one office over there, right? Which is, we have a very upscale medical spa also. And my goal is to make that med spa one of the best med spas of Tampa Bay. But our main focus is on opening, and we have already got an approval from city. We're building another 6-story tower with 45,000 square feet in front of our current building. We're building an automatic parking garage behind that. And my goal is to build a Microsoft of telemedicine in Oldsmar, which is going to cover whole state of Florida, some other states, and 25 international locations. All the doctors will be sitting here. right? Patient can be in London, Dubai, Nigeria, Brazil, right? And we will be seeing patients. So eventually we start from 9 to 6 like regular hours. That's why we approved like our 6-story is our own restaurant. We will call it restaurant, but that is not for public because we will start opening. Because sometimes it's daytime over here, it's nighttime in other countries, that's a time zone. So we will be providing lunch and food to all our employees. Within the next 2 years, we will have at least 200 doctors working in that building. And within the next 36 months, we will have 100 locations all over Florida. I still believe that money should not be a hindrance. I 100% believe I'm a profit organization, and profit is not a bad word. But my wife's PM, who is a doctor, graduate of Northwestern, that money should not be a hindrance in seeing about. Right. So normally, I'm just trying to tell you that what our RVN is. Normally, while we have so much patient base, and most of the doctors, what I have seen, this is a practical thing, they do not like to see Medicaid patients because of the lower reimbursement. We especially contacted 1.5 years ago to Medicaid that we want to be a provider. We have so much patient base, we don't have time even. We're hiring more providers to see Medicaid patients. So while sitting over here, I'm opening locations. Basically, I'm very proud. I feel like connected to this downtown projection because only like how much we are not even 5 minutes from here.
Yeah. No, you're not even 5 minutes.
And so we are opening locations all over Florida. By seeing over here the remote areas, right? There is a huge shortage of doctors, huge shortage of mental health providers, psychiatrists. So first of all, we will be helping out a lot of patients, and especially Medicaid patients who need a lot of it. Number one, when you see them on a very regular basis, we're going to reduce hospitalization. So when somebody goes to the hospital with your medical background, somebody is paying for that, right? And especially with all the Medicaid patients, government is paying for that. So if we save that money to the government in that county, right? So this means we are going to save them a lot of money, which they can redeploy that money to the further development of those countries. So our goal is that we will open at least one office per county, and in the bigger county, in the Pasco County already I have 2 offices. In Pinellas County, I have 2 offices. Right, so one office per county, maybe 2 or 3, depending on the size of the county. By the end of this year, we will cover the whole West Coast, from Naples till Panama. Right now, I have my office in St. Pete, Oldsmar, Port Richey. We're building one right now in Spring Hill, Ocala, Wesley Chapel, Brandon, Lakeland, and Lake Wales. But now our next opening is Naples, Fort Myers, Sarasota, and then Gainesville and Panama City. There's a huge need of, I requested Mayor also. I'm also looking for spaces. We have plans to build our own psych hospital. Huge demand. People need a lot of help. When in Panama City, when they have to send a patient to a psych hospital, the patient is transported from Panama either to Tampa or Jackson, right? So people need help, right? There's a huge demand in psychiatry, and mostly the people in mental health do not understand the business. They like to stay away. And so I'm very appreciative of City Council. They approved our building. I think so. We will start breaking the floor in September. I was planning to do it in March or April. Because of still COVID hitting from 10 different angles, it got a little delayed. And we will be submitting our plans for the final approval maybe next 60 days, and we start constructing. So basically that means with the grace of God, we are planning to build a Microsoft of telemedicine, which is going to expand to different countries. Thank you.
Any questions? Usman or anybody in general? No? I think it's been great. Been a great learning experience, and I appreciate everybody sharing their plans and their vision and sharing with us. And I'll turn it over to the mayor to kind of close things out.
Yeah, we have one other thing that the chamber, who's hosting this, actually would like to say a few words. Sorry.
Hey, it wasn't on my agenda, so.
you know, the chamber's been working hard with the city to get some events going in Oldsmar. And what we've come up now is what we're gonna start doing and promoting the downtown is doing second Fridays, starting in, hopefully in July. So we'll be doing second Fridays from Park to St. Pete Drive. So keep your eyes open for that.
Very good.
What time would the second Fridays be?
From 5 to 9, 5 to 10.
And I just have one more comment that, I love Sherry's idea about the vision wall, we named it, because a lot of us don't know what each other does or the plans for the city, so that's a really great idea.
Would love to
Should
have.
all be made more acquainted.
Well, and that's a great way for me to jump in and maybe kind of wrap up. So first off, once again, I'll say. Huh?
Well, I didn't really have, I just had that one there just to throw it out on the, it's not even confirmed, we haven't discussed it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about it? Or you?
Yeah, I just want to say actually that some of the things that I was.
Did you want it popped up?
Oh, yeah,
No.
check it out.
I mean, I don't want to,
Just-
I don't want to create, I mean, I know it's therapy, but.
Bill and myself haven't even discussed it, so I wanted to just reiterate on what.
Which one of these you want?
I don't know which one, I can't, it just looks like little mountains with the sun in it. I don't want the mountain.
This is, that's.
Go 1920 Victorian, yeah, to the far left, Doug.
Yeah, look.
Right, so the fact that I didn't really notice that everyone's designs, especially the one that they're not present right now across from the library, is architecturally designed the same as this building. I'm kind of proud that everyone's doing the same sort of thing that was in my mind. I didn't know that they were doing the same architectural design to keep Oldsmar old in that sense. Because when we looked at the hotel before meeting Bill, when it was just Jeremy, I had this vision of keeping the building, going up one story and building on top of that. And that's what I saw about 2 weeks later coming under the Sarasota Bridge on a barge. And I'm like, that's Oldsmar. So the fact that everyone else has done all these 1950s style or whatever renderings, I'm like, it's consecutively. So yeah, I just wanted to reiterate on that. That was good to know that coming down St. Pete, they're maintaining that design.
Well, and you know, to that point, and this is, y'all, sometimes the business community loves it and sometimes not so much, but it's the reason we have architectural standards in the city of Oldsmar. It's not a coincidence.
That's not confirmed. That was just me playing
Yeah.
around over a period of 4 years.
Right. No, I don't mean that. I'm
Right.
saying in general. And listen, there's a reason why when you're in our community, and I'm not taking anything away from other neighboring communities, but we're committed to never look like US 19.
Yes.
I just don't want to.
I agree.
And so, you know, that's it.
Thank you.
That's it. And because listen, this is our home.
Yeah.
You know, folks are making real investments into this. And so that's kind of the commitment we should have out of our council and our city leadership, the professionals. I always separate the council, like we're all volunteers we're elected volunteers, but we rely on the professionals like the city manager, assistant city manager, and you know, director of planning and redevelopment and all that stuff. So anyhow, so let me do this so we finish early. Let me say thank you to everybody again. To Maria's point, part of today's goal was so everybody gets to know everybody, right? There are people who are here who are interested also that haven't spoken in making more investments into the community, and people who are here who are in certain venues like restaurants. Well, guess what? We're building some restaurant space. So it's that kind of cross-pollination, if you will, of like interests that even furthers the likelihood of success of one's project. And that's part of this goal, is trying to bring people together so they can see what's going on Maybe this is something the chamber does again in 6 months from now. I don't know when, but certainly it's the opportunity. I would encourage all of you, and maybe if you let Doug know that you're okay with it, maybe we put together a list of contact information and where you're from and share that with everybody. So that everybody knows everyone, and we'd encourage you all to pick up the phone. I think it's exciting news that the Galleria retail sounds like it might all be fully rented. That's important. I mean, that's really important because we're gonna bring on more space, and the demand is great. And you'll notice throughout the theme, we are trying to maintain, and the council's really committed to this and has been, and past councils too, and that is our history. We have a unique history. Let's maintain it. It's a good story to tell and people enjoy it. But when I hear all the projects, I know what some are spending, right? And when you put all the stuff you just heard together, it's way over $100 million worth of investment in probably a 1 mile radius, 1 mile radius, right? And so I will say this, and it might sound a bit dramatic, but I believe this. If you ever wondered what it felt like to be in the right place at the right time, this is what it feels like. This is exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
And so I will just conclude by saying, everybody, thank you so much. And we appreciate you showing your commitment and belief in the city of Oldsmar. Have a good day. Thank you all online.
Good to see you here. Thank you.